Hello and welcome. This is our third online training video on generative AI. And today we will focus on using AI for teamwork. And these videos are provided by Salto Digital, especially for national agencies. In the first video, you learned what is generative AI, and we talk about ethics and copyright issues, and that you cannot trust on AI. So, the basic things you need to know about AI. And the second video was more about the tools. There, I introduced the Microsoft Copilot and the ChatGPT from OpenAI. And today we concentrate on teamwork, especially how you can use AI to support collaboration and how you could get your thinking out of the box with help of AI. And I will also give you some ideas how you can enhance learning or use AI in different kind of training sessions to get better results, but also there are some ideas to have fun and get to know the group you are working with. My name is Matlena Laakso, and I'm an e-learning specialist here from Finland. And I have a blog, and there is an English blog page where you can find both the slides and some extra materials, as well as links to these four videos. To set a solid foundation for the theme, I will introduce you some basics of group work and group dynamics. In this picture, you can see the dual objective, uh, which tells that every group has two parallel goals. And it is the group leader, the facilitator, the teacher who has the task to take care of both of these tools. And the other one is the task goal, what we are together for, what is the plan or the report we need to do, what are we working with. And the other one is the process goal, how the group works together. It's about communication and trust and participation. You could start thinking, where do you want AI to help you? Because for this task goal, there are different kind of data analysis, and AI can automate routine tasks. It can write you notes or summaries. Or if you want AI to help you more with the process, it can be like uh, one member of your group to summarizing the discussions you have created or asking you questions, or it can enhance creativity or suggest different viewpoints. When we think about group psychology, there can be found 5 steps how the group is developing. It doesn't depend on the length of a group. Every group has these stages, whether it's just for half a day or for 1 year. And one thing you could think that at what stage do you need support and how AI could help you, either you as a group leader or group facilitator or the whole group. And when we think about these stages, it's also important to notice that the group leader has different task in each group. At the first, when the group is just forming, you have to take the role of the facilitator or the leader, and especially support the interaction between its members, and keep in mind the dual objectives of the group that we talked about in the previous slide. There you could, for example, use AI so that you ask everyone to generate an image of themselves, their way of work, where they are from, or how do they see the aims of this group work, and then use that image when they introduce themselves. In the storming phase, your work as a facilitator or group leader is to encourage criticism and accept emotions, highlight the conflicts, mix subgroups, and maybe clarify the activities, what you are doing, or the action plan. So there you can, for example, ask AI's help if you have the transcript of your meeting to clarify the plan, or maybe notice some contradictions you need to talk about later on. In the first stage, everyone is joining the group and trying to find out their place and in a little bit be like everyone else to be accepted. But in a storming phase, the individuality comes to be seen, and that's when people get hopefully feel safe enough to express their ideas even though they don't agree with everyone. And then in the norming phase, you take care of the basic task and strengthen the openness and communication of the group. And in the fourth stage is often enough that the facilitator keeps up the motivation. You could maybe help ask AI help for that if it's needed. It might be a good idea to show everyone what is ready, what have you done by far, and what we still need to do. And then in the last phase, there might be uh, need for to get space for memories and feelings. Uh, that's also a place where you can generate images, or you can even ask for methods. When using AI, you can just take the ChatGPT or Copilot and ask them to analyze the data or answer your questions or so on. Or you can create chatbots to help you if you need help in a certain phase of the group work over and over again. It might be a good idea to create chatbot. In Microsoft Copilot, they are called agents, and in ChatGTP, they are called GTPs. And both of them have already so-called ready-made chatbots that you can use, but you can also create your own. Okay, and when we think about the integration of AI into Teams workflow, I think in this image we have the most important parts you need to take care of. And the first one is ensure that everyone has the basic understanding of AI. You have to know the some safety issues. You have to understand at least a little bit how these large language models work, because there is an explanation why they can hallucinate, they can stereotype, why you cannot trust them. You can think AI a little bit like one opinion, but you before making decisions as a human, you have to be certain that that is the way you want to continue. And then next, when you start brainstorming ideas or you start planning a new project or whatever you are doing, start with human creativity. Researches show that that is the best way. Start with your own ideas, give AI your perspectives and your style. It doesn't know the context and it cannot read your thoughts. The group's creativity will improve when they brainstorm ideas themselves first and ask AI to help a little bit later on. Because if you're using AI at the beginning, it can limit your creativity. Uh, you don't get the best results in that way. And if you always start with AI, there are also risks that you get too dependent on it, or you can, lose some of your professional skills if you never use them. The ideas might begin to repeat the same pattern, and the originality of the team might suffer as well. So, mm, so start with human creativity almost always is the best way to do. It does I don't say in 100%, but almost always. And then in the next phase, when your group has already worked, then invite AI to give you feedback or give some more ideas or expand your own imagination or ask AI to create you good questions or something else. And then if you want to, you can continue to the fourth stage. And there you can continue editing whatever you are doing in collaboration with AI. human strengths, they lie on ability to understand the context, the culture, the emotions, and and working with AI, you always have to be in charge and decide what is the final product and that you will share, or what are the actions you are doing. If we are thinking about schools and studying, one important question is that what do we teach our students, and where do they spend the most time with? Is studying something like generating content, or is it more like assessing and editing the AI created content? Of course, first starting with human, but after that. So when you ask AI something, it doesn't mean that's the way it is, but you have to use your human values and ethics and make the final decisions. Okay, then let's go to some very practical examples. This is one of them. AI response comparison. I have used this quite a lot in my trainings. So, at first, ask the participants in the group a question through conversation, or you can have a small group discussion, or you can use some web tools where the participants write their ideas. And after that, you ask AI the same question. And it's quite interesting to see what the AI will answer. And then you can look at the AI's answers together and make some follow up questions if you want to know more about AI's so called opinions. And then you can compare what were the differences between humans and AI to learn how AI works. And then you can evaluate critically the AI's answer. Was it true, biased, generic, or also? But also be open-minded. What you could learn from AI? Did you get some new perspectives from that? And you can, if you think that AI thinks the same way as you can ask it for justified criticism of your own answers. So you can ask it to make you difficult question as well. And always when working with AI, since this is still quite new, you could take a moment to reflect if AI helps you to understand the workflow, or if you learn something new about AI. Um, a little bit more difficult question is ask AI something and then analyze its response. Is it true? Do you agree? What is missing? That's quite an important question. What did you learn? And you can also ask examples or totally opposite view. Um, or ask some examples what it means in your work context. Okay, I have here some different roles that AI can take in teamwork, and feel free to add your own comments. You can see here both a QR code and a web link where you can add some ideas. And if some of these ideas are mentioned several times, then you will see that word in a bigger font in the future. But now I will share my web browser and show you how to work with this answer card. Okay, here we have my favorite answer card, and you can create a new one just clicking the plus icon, and then it will ask you the theme or the topic or the question. I'm right here, different roles of AI. Usually choose this classroom mode, and then answer length if you want them to be 20 or 40 words. You can write your password here if you want to be able to return as an admin user, for example, the next day. But otherwise, you can just scroll this down and click create And this is what it looks like. And I actually created one a little bit earlier. So now I have here already some ideas written. And then you can just share the link from the web browser or click the QR code from here. So it's easier in face-to-face settings. And then you just ask everyone to write down their ideas and click submit. So everyone can answer as many times as you want them to be able to answer, and then you will get this word cloud. And if you want to export the answers and insert them to AI tool, then you need to choose here this export and scroll down a little bit. Here you will find this get the answers. And this is where you can just copy the answers, and then you can open either Copilot or ChatGPT, open the new chat, and then ask it to classify the following roles. And then you copy paste whatever was written in the answer card. And then you can see what it will answer. So there's a cognitive and thinking support was mentioned as one role, and the knowledge and data management, collaborative and social roles, strategic and design roles, ethical and responsible use. And that's where you can start the conversation and ask some follow-up questions if you want to. And if you're using Padlet instead of Answer Garden, you can do exactly the same, but then you can get longer answers. And from this sharing link, you can scroll down, and here you will get this. You can export it as an Excel spreadsheet. So then it will be easy to you again to continue editing with AI. You can also use shared OneDrive document. So you can use any tools to collect the ideas, and then you just ask AI to summarize or classify what you have created. Okay, so here is still the slide on how to create word clouds. There are some options, but you can use the basic tools over there. And here's the reminder where you get the answers. And here are some prompt suggestions for you to continue. Of course, it depends on the theme you are working with. And as a summary, here is the main idea that you can use AI even with those web tools which don't have AI features. You can ask group for metaphors. By the way, that is really interesting. Ask for metaphors for AI, and then ask AI to summarize and classify the answers. That's a good starting point for discussion. Here I have several ideas on what thinking out of the box might mean with AI. Actually, these ideas are something you might be very familiar already long before AI. But instead of asking these questions only from other persons, you can also ask them from AI. So you can AI to suggest alternative solutions to the problem or to the question you are thinking about. You can use different AI personas, like ask it to answer like historian or innovator, like skeptic, like futurist. You can give it different kind of roles. It's a little bit similar like these Deponos six thinking hats. If you know them, there are six different colors, and when you take the color hat of a certain color, you also get a kind of role, whether you are a critic or you talk a lot about feelings, or if you only talk about your facts and so on. AI can also simulate feedback from different stakeholders like students or policymakers or citizens. And I also like a lot about this fourth idea that each member would ask the same question but a little bit different words, and then you get different answers to the same question. What new things might arouse from that idea? And some other other ideas how you could um, encourage participants to broaden their ideas. And the last one, what would be the opposite solution and what we can learn from it? I think that's quite a good question, isn't it? Okay, then I have here the method called agree or disagree. So it means that you mark the line in middle of the room and you read out AI generated statements. Of course, you can create them yourself or you can ask your participant to create the statements and use the theme of your meeting or your group. Here, the example is this AI can be creative. It's a good statement since it doesn't have right or wrong answer, because if it's true or not, it depends pretty much on how we define what is creativeness or what is AI in general. And the idea is that you get one statement at a time, and then the participants move to that side of the line if they agree, and to the other side if they disagree with the statement. And then you can ask for justifications, and you can even let participants switch the sides. If the other side has very good arguments, you are free to change the style. So the good argument is something that some of them agree and some of them disagree. It's not question of being right or wrong, but maybe understand the problem a little bit more and watching it from different sides. Um, you can also generate images for teamwork, either so that you create the images yourself or you use images from Pixabay on some other website where are copyright free images, but you can also generate them. It's a good practice for learning to write prompts. You can also use images as a discussion starter or as get to know activity. You could ask everyone to create an image of where they are from or what do they find important or something else, and then they introduce themselves or their working style with that image. Uh, it might be sometimes easier to tell about the mood and motivation or the challenges when you create an image that reflects those ideas. It's easier to talk with the image than without. And also, when using images in reflection, for example, you will get much more diverse answers. It's not easy to say, I feel just like everyone else. When you have an image, you have your own story to tell, and that's quite interesting. The image you can see here is something that I created. I have this image in my mind from my childhood, but I don't have any photographs from the situation, but it was important for me. And in this image, I tried to recreate that memory and have it as a photo. That was quite an interesting process to try it out. Here I have one idea of using images. Um, I named this visions of the future, but your theme can be anything your team is working with. But in these examples are mainly from AI because that's something that is coming to every one of us. So you introduce the team of the meeting or the training or the workshop, whatever you are doing together. And you can ask each small group to choose one perspective to the question you have in there and share their thoughts. And then you can ask the small group to generate images or infographics, comic strips as a summary of the discussion. And then at the end, each small group will share their images and at the same time tell about their main ideas to the question you have there. And at the end, it's always a good idea to ask for reflection on both the theme you were discussing about, but also on the use of AI. Google Arts and Culture is an interesting web page. You can just Google it and you will find it. It's a good way of learning how to create images. Here you can see the image and the prompt, and then you can try it out. You will see an image and you have to write the prompt to get similar kind of image, and it will generate that image, and then you will get the points whether it was good enough. This was good enough but not perfect at all. This only works in English language. So for example, here you have to both describe what you see in the picture but also let it know that it's watercolor style, because as you probably remember, when creating images, what is in the image, what is the target, what is the background, and what is the style. Those are three basic things to describe. So the prompts matter even in images. Here I wanted to show you a few examples. Here is the image that ChatGPT created me when I asked for a lake. And then I asked for the small lake in Northern Europe. There's already autumn as we have it here. This looks pretty much the image, a lake that we could have here in Finland. Then I added a little bit more description, like it's winter, the lake is frozen, there are children skating on the ice. One thing I noticed that I created several images, and the skaters, they always have the same position there. They all look, it's like five copies of the skaters, and you will see them in the next one as well. So the fourth was much more specific about the sunlight and so on. But you see, all these skaters look exactly same. It's a little bit funny, but I mean that the more information you give, uh, the more you get the kind of pictures you were asking for. Because lake can be anything, but if you want a mountains or don't want a mountains, or you want a certain time of the year, you have to tell that. And that is also one way, if you think about the ethical use and the how much it's using electricity, it's a good idea that write a little bit longer prompts, at least one sentence. Then you will probably get what you want for the first try. If you just give one word and then three words and then six words, you are using more and more energy. Okay, and then it's not just the content, but it's also the style. Here we have the watercolor paintings, the claymation, and the Japanese anime. So there are so many different styles. In some tools, there are styles where you can choose from, but when you are creating ChatGPT or Copilot, you just have to tell the style you are looking for, and they are so good at creating different kind of images at the moment that you can just use them. But if you want to, there are some other tools that are especially designed for creating images. Here is another example. So the main thing is that you have the main subject, the background, and the style, but you can uh, add as many details as you want to. You can add the action, if there are people or animals, what they are doing, what is happening in the picture. You can add the mood and the atmosphere, and there are really many different kind of styles you can use. So this is the image they created uh, from this prompt, and I use this Leonardo AI tool that you can try out for free. Um, and there are different kind of presets where you can choose the different kind of styles. So here we have this retro anime, we have art deco style, and then when I made some changes in the prompt, I got a little bit different kind of image from the same prompt. You can also use images like that. You tell in your slide set when it's a lunch hour when you will continue to get some humor to your trainings. Okay, then if you want something totally different, why not try the AI theater? I have done this several times and they have usually been quite funny and entertaining. So the idea is generate a play and use the prompt, write a 1 minute play for 4 persons to perform without any props. And in the play, use the words like teamwork, AI hallucination, and problem solving, or whatever the words are in the context of your work. And if necessary, you can let others to generate several plays and choose the best one. And then you give it just a little bit of time to practice before they will perform, before the small groups will perform their plays. Something between 5 to 10 minutes might be enough. And something a little bit similar, but you need a little bit more courage maybe, is this PowerPoint karaoke. So you can ask AI to create a PowerPoint slide set about a certain subject for example, 3 minutes, and then you might also add a style if you want to. You can create this in pairs, so that the pairs will have a couple of minutes time to look at the slides to know what is coming uh, over there, and then they just have to be quite innovative to, to create something. These are funny. People might get to know each other a little bit better, but when you are in this kind of a little bit difficult situation, there might be some new ideas rising from there as well. I don't know. Just think about, would you enjoy something like this? Okay, then at the end I have here some reflection questions for you, either as individuals or for your teams. So something to think about when you consider using AI in your teamwork. You can think in which part of the teamwork AI could assist you, what role you would give to that, how could it help you to think differently, and also think about what is the human strength that your team should always keep, even when AI is assisting. What is something you will not give up? And also consider the risks and the ethical issues you are using, uh, uh, and use the safe tools that you have from your employee. And then you can think that what's one team task you would like to try, and what would be the first and safe step to get started? And then think about the methods. If you are using Copilot, will you just write a prompt there, or will you uh, use one of the agents that Microsoft has created and you are free to use, or some of them you can even modify, or will you create your own agent? I promise all of you are able to create agents or GPTs for ChatGPT, because you can create them either in a kind of filling out the form, telling how you want that agent to work, or you can just use a long uh, prompt where you tell how it is working. So be brave and try out. And after you've been trying some of these methods, think that what insights did you gain from the collaborative process with AI and your team? And what did you learn about? Were there some kind of restrictions or some new possibilities you were not even able to imagine? And also, how will you share what you have learned? Will you share it in your organization, or will you write a blog post, or will you try out with different team to make others know that you have invented something amazing? So don't do this secretly, but share what you have learned, because all of us are just learning on how to use AI, and we need good examples, and we need us to be open and transparent about AI and share the ideas. This is one way that I use a lot with reflection. Here I have images of cakes that I have created with AI. I also have AI generated fruits, but I often use also just photographs. And the idea is that as a reflection, I ask everyone to choose the number that reflects on their thoughts, what they feel like, what AI tastes at the moment. And I ask them either to say it out loud if the group is quite small, or when I'm having online sessions for bigger groups, I ask everyone uh, to write down to chat the number and with one sentence, what does it taste like to the chat so that it's I can quickly see what kind of ideas everyone has, but it doesn't take so much time. Images are quite good when we think about reflecting either what we have learned or how we have worked together as a group. Okay, and as a last slide, I have here this Google Moonshot. Uh, it's a question whether we will get 10% improvement, for example, with AI, or whether we will get 10 times improvement. And there's a huge difference between these two. This Google Moonshot refers to ambitious and high-risk projects, big problems with radical solutions. And now we can think about it as with the context of AI. I was thinking about an example of that, and communication is one of the things that came to my mind. Hundreds of years ago in my hometown, we had these letters and postcards. We get them only at summertime because at wintertime we didn't have good roads enough. And that is one reason why it was so important for us to get the city rights, because when you are a city, you get the privilege of being a city. Then there were letters and postcards and post office all the year round. Later on, postman came every day, maybe not weekends, but otherwise. Then we got the telephone, the fax, the email, and now we have these video conferencing tools where we can meet people all over the world and be in real-time connection, even having AI to translate everything, for example, add captions to almost any language. So I think in the last hundreds of years, there have been quite an improvement on the possibilities to communicate with others. That was about it. So now it's your turn and your team's turn to think about what you will do next. What are the next steps? We cannot just jump from 10% to 10 times more improvement, but you can always do something a little bit more, experience the different features of AI and the possibilities. And I hope you will get good ideas and share them with your colleagues as well. So thank you for watching and have a lovely autumn. Bye bye.